So this is a past life reading and it was done on February 27th. This is just a general reading to see which past life has the most impact on your life today. So for this reading, I will actually be using 3 different decks. I'll be using the Past Life Oracle deck, the Soul's Journeys lesson cards, as well as the Green Witch Tarot cards. So this will be a 13 card spread. The 4 cards on the top here will relate to your first past life, the one that has the most impact on your life currently. Then the 4 bottom left is going to be the second past life, and the 4 bottom right will indicate the third past life. I've also pulled a 4th soul's lesson card or life lesson card to kind of represent which lesson you're working on in this current life. So before I get started, I would just like to start with a quick prayer. I call upon my angels and my guides to please be in contact with Aquarians, angels, and guides. May you provide a clear and accurate reading. I also call upon Archangel Michael to please protect this reading in white light. So before we're going to get started here. So with the first past life that we've got is we have the love life. When this one comes up, it can reflect to having a past life in the past that had been a little bit more difficult, maybe kind of left you with a, it would have been a hard relationship. So because of that, you might be having a hard time in this past life to connect with somebody who's going to be a nice, healthy relationship. So if that's the case, this is kind of indicating that you probably would need to do some self-work before that you could find a relationship that is really going to be supporting you. Can also be, like, sometimes it can mean different things, and you'll see which one you resonate to. It could also be that the person you're with now, you guys have been in multiple past lives together. But I'll keep reading here, and I kind of think it's a little bit different. I'll tell you why in a moment here. Now, the life lesson we have associated with this one is imagination. So this talks about the importance of embracing and nourishing your creative aspect of your mind. Keep your thoughts positive. If you can see it, you can be it, right? So because this is coming up with a life lesson you were working on in this past life, I'm kind of seeing that there was a struggle with kind of connecting with your creativity during that time, and that's why this was a life lesson, right? Because you kind of really benefited from being able to do that. Now, the 2 tarot cards that we have on here is we have the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse position, and we also have the Nature card in the reverse position. Now, in traditional tarot deck, the Nature card is actually called the Devil. So these ones here talks about the Knight of Pentacles. In the reverse situation, when I see a knight, when I see a royal, to me this indicates an individual. So with the knight, I see somebody, so the royals are the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. I would kind of visualize the page as a child, or either somebody who's got childlike energy, or somebody who's like in the beginning stages of something. In this case, we have a knight. So I see the knight as a young adult, or someone who's got adolescent type of energy. Now with adolescent type of energy, I kind of see somebody who's kind of like very opinionated, very excited, high energy, but very much quick to act, think later. Also, we've got the Pentacles here. The Pentacles talks about resources. Could be money, could be knowledge, could be time, right? Now, the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse situation talks about somebody who's maybe a perfectionist, slow to progress, stuck, who's kind of either stuck or second guessing. Now, we also have the Nature card here in the reverse position, or the Devil card, right? This one here talks about breaking free, quitting, hitting bottom or broken agreement. So obviously these two cards associated to a love life card isn't very positive. I kind of see that part of one of the past life here, you had a really hard relationship. And with the Knight of Pentacles, I kind of see that it was expected upon you to kind of, like you felt you really had to be perfecting, like a bit of a perfectionist, and you weren't meeting the expectation that was put upon you, and that really kind of created some issues for you. And like I see the breaking free, so I kind of see that you got away with this here a little bit too. Now, I know that we're doing these readings because you've had a male voice calling out to you, and this is who I believe this is. Now, when we have our lives, we kind of determine the major events that we want to go through, trying to get our souls to go through some experiences so that we can learn and grow from them. And when we pass away, we then kind of first reevaluate the life that we had, kind of see what we did, the impact that we had on the people around us, before that we go on the next life. And I'm kind of seeing that the person you were with in this past life had to go through that process as well. And when he reevaluated his life, he saw the damage that he had caused your soul in this particular lifetime, that before he can move on to the next lifetime, he's kind of has to make right of the wrongs that he's done. So I believe this is why he's reaching out to you. This is why he's been following you. And I do believe that this is what is coming up. And I like that the imagination card is coming up with this as well, right? So if this is him, probably you've kind of like, am I imagining things? Am I really hearing this? What's going on, right? So this is why this is in the first position. This is the past life that has the most impact on you, because he's guiding you right now. He's trying to protect you to make up for what he did in the past that was wrong. So with the next past life, we have the arts. Now when the arts comes up, is you would have had a past life where you were very an artistic person, or it could have been either with music, with with arts, paints, that sort of stuff. You had a past life that had very artistic components to it, that in this current lifetime it's probably creating like a ripple effect a little bit. Maybe you're very talented in some creative aspect, that's kind of like a natural talent, and that's because it's coming from this past life. The life lesson that you had to deal with during that particular life was doubt. So even though that you were a person with great artistic skills, you really kind of doubted yourself with it, right? And it's not an easy path to take either, with to being so artistic and creative and that sort of stuff, because artists definitely tend to be more emotional people, and then sharing the arts that they're doing, they're really kind of sharing a big part of themselves out with the general public. That kind of makes it them a little bit more vulnerable, right? So this would kind of make sense that doubt and learning how to deal with doubt was part of the life lesson for this particular lifetime. Now the two tarot cards we have associated with this is we have the Page of Wands in the reverse position, as well as the Two of Wands. So very themed here with the wands. Now wands can be actions, it can be creativity, it can be kind of like passions as well, right? So with this one, with the Page of Wands being in the reverse situation, now again this is a royal, so I see this as indicating an individual, and I see the Page of Wands, so the page would be somebody who's a child, or somebody who's very childish like energy, kind of like that pure excitement that kids can have, right? But this is in the reverse situation. So the Page of Wands in the reverse situation talks a little bit more about being uninspired, rigid, maybe temperamental. It does talk about self-doubt and fear in the unknown. So this is kind of interesting that this would have come up, because this definitely makes sense of who you would have been, being an artistic person, dealing with self-doubt, so that kind of goes along with this. So this card definitely represents who you were in that particular lifetime. The second card that we have, the Two of Wands, talks about choices, potential. This is one that talks about it's time for contemplation. Take a step back, have a look at what you've created and where you need to go, which is a proper path for you, right? So, plowing, so yeah, so kind of where have you been? Where do you want to go? This is definitely like a card that indicates the need to make a choice and to plan for that choice. So a time of planning and contemplation. So this is something that you would have had to dealt with a lot during that particular time on whether, you know, kind of pursuing your art and dealing with the doubts that came with it. Now for the third past life that we have here, we have orphan. So when the orphan cards comes up, it talks about there being a past life where you were an orphan. Now this can affect you in this current lifetime, because if you did not have the love and support of a family, you may be, it can be a double-edged sword a little bit in this current lifetime, because you might be a person who can be very independent. You kind of rely on yourself first, but also you might be kind of very rigid or guarded in a way where you're kind of cautious about letting people in and fear that you would lose them, right? So that's kind of what's coming up with the orphan. With the life lesson that we have for that one is envy. And that would make sense, because having a life as an orphan, you wouldn't have had the same things made available to you that everybody else kind of you would see they would all have, and that would kind of have made you envious. So the life lesson that you were working on in this particular life was on for your soul to learn how to deal with envy. So to put yourself in a situation like that would have definitely have forced you to kind of learn that lesson. Now the two tarot cards that we have associated with this, we have the Wild Hunt. Now, in the regular tarot deck, that would have been called the Tower. And we also have the Ace of Pentacles. So, the Wild Hunt, or the Tower, kind of really talks about sudden shock, destruction, questioning belief, and kind of total chaos. So, because of this card coming up, I kind of see that, you know, orphan, you weren't born an orphan, you weren't abandoned at birth and that sort of stuff. You've lost your parents in a very tragic circumstances, hence the Tower. So you're very aware of what you had before and what you were dealt with afterwards, right? So you kind of really had that sense of loss. And I kind of see that Tower, that was like a very pinpoint event that kind of created that chaos. So, and then the next one that we have with the Ace of Pentacles, Pentacles again talks more about the resources. So it could be the money, could be the education, could be time, the knowledge. So this one here, the Ace of Pentacles, Ace normally also talks about new beginnings. So it talks about an opportunity, a new beginning, right? And maybe investing or planting seeds, being grounded. So I kind of see that because of what happened and the circumstances that you got placed into, you really had to learn to rely upon yourself, to kind of take care of yourself, and you did pretty good on that side. Like you definitely did really kind of well on the financial aspect of it and kind of taking care of yourself that way in this particular lifetime. And that could have been with the envy, right? So instead of envying what people had around you, you went out and got your own. So it's kind of what I'm seeing that happen in this particular past life. Now, so for the current life lesson in this lifetime that you are dealing with now, we have relationships. So when the relationship comes up, now keep in mind when we plan our life, we will plan the different people that we want to connect with. And each of the souls that we will connect with are meant to teach us a certain experience, or kind of go through a certain experience. It's really kind of meant to help us have, you know, kind of those feelings or things happen for our soul to learn and develop from them. Now, don't be surprised that when that person has fulfilled their purpose of teaching us what we needed to do, they will move on because they've fulfilled their purpose in our life. This is coming up with relationship because either you're holding on to a relationship that has served its purpose and it's time to let it go. Or you're gotta really be careful on who you're bringing into your life. Make sure that who is around you is serving you. So the life lesson that we have kind of currently, kind of seeing, it's kind of evaluating the relationships that you're in. You're learning on making sure that the people you allow in your life are people that are serving you. So this was the past life reading for you, and I hope that it really resonated. Have a blessed day.